Greetings and welcome to this week's True Sidereal 13 sign astrological weather forecast for the week of July 8th through 13th. Another quiet week as far as the aspects go, so not a whole lot of interaction between the planets, which means that the primary focus or energetic themes of the week have more to do with where they actually are in the visible sky. And if you're new here, yes, we're using the visible sky. And as you can see here, the sun is smack dab in the middle of Gemini, not Cancer, as the popularized Western mainstream astrology will be telling you. And that is because that system is a social construct that is affixed to a calendar and a clock designed to ensnare humanity in the lower cycles of the earth. It is an incomplete system. It will track somewhat because it has some truth to it, but I assure you that this lens is way more specific. So if you're a celestial being here looking to harness the authentic alchemical energies of the planets and luminaries as they move through the constellations known as the zodiac, stay tuned. So, as I said, not a whole lot going on as far as interaction between the planets this week. More so focused on where they actually are in the sky. And of course, we have a full moon coming up very early Friday morning Eastern Standard Time, 3:44 a.m. So technically like Thursday night would be the closest as far as that energy is concerned. And with the lunar cycle, the full moon is the check-in point. So we're looking at where things have progressed, how things have progressed since the new moon 2 weeks ago in Gemini, which was all about adopting a new paradigm, thinking differently. This full moon is the axis between Gemini and Sagittarius. So we've got that mutable air and the mutable fire. Mutable signs are flexible, right? So we've got flexible thinking with that Gemini aspect and the higher mind with the Sagittarian aspect, right? So it's taking that flexible thinking and belief systems connected to that and being able to create something new. Now, I did do a full deep dive into that full moon, that lunation. So check out the video I made on that if you want more details there. I'm going to make this video a bit more concise as I have also been putting most of my creation energy into the current round of 13 Not Your Mama's astrology that is going strong. We're on week 3, teaching you how to read charts intuitively and make astrology a primary experience once again. So if that is of interest to you, you want to become a sky watcher yourself, learn how to read these energies and remove the middleman for astrology. Check out either the information in the comments of this video if you're watching it on YouTube, or the link in my bio if you're watching it on TikTok. I have an ebook and I will be running the course again. I'm going to be packaging it as a DIY offering, and I'm sure I'll be teaching it live again eventually. So anywho, sales pitch over. Let's get into the specifics of the week. Okay, so as I mentioned, we've got Gemini energy illuminated by the sun and Jupiter. Okay, two big expansive kind of energies. The sun illuminates and Jupiter expands. So heavy on the Gemini energy at present. And this, again, is that mutable air. It is flexible thinking. The twins can hold two perspectives, right? They have the ability to see both sides of things. Gemini energy is about making connections between things, pattern recognition. It is very much that logical, left brain, analytical systems kind of thinking. Curiosity, seeking knowledge. So all of these themes are at play right now with the Gemini energy. Then, of course, because Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, we look to Mercury in Cancer to give us some clues as far as maybe what the themes of this new paradigm or flexible thinking or curiosity might be. And in Cancer, that cardinal water, it's all about putting yourself first. It is about nurturing, caretaking, being the mother and the child at once, all right? And this is not gender specific, but it's more to do with the energy of nurturing, okay? Taking care of yourself, feeling safe, right? Taking care of your feelings and feeling safe are all themes with Cancer, so that is being highlighted right now as well. We also have Mars down here in Leo. Mars is the self, our doing energy, our masculine output. It is Aries kind of energy, right? So it can potentially be kind of aggressive. It is really thinking of the self kind of idea. And in Leo is pretty comfortable, right? Because it's that fixed fire energy. It's that confidence. Leo is the sun. It is illuminating. It is play, it's creativity. In the shadow aspect, it is being boastful and dramatic in an externally locused kind of way, like operating in the drama triangle, the victim, persecutor, or rescuer. The South Node also just transgressed into Leo last week, I believe, or the week before. It's not shown on here because this is an astronomical star charting app, not astrological. And the node is really just the point where the lunar path crosses the line of the ecliptic. But I also did some videos on that dynamic and talking about how the South Node moving through Leo over the next 2 years is going to result in the end of the spiritual influencer era, like the incongruent spiritual influencer era, right? Like people just saying the things and not embodying it. Performative spirituality, performative leadership, all of that kind of stuff. The cracks are starting to show and they are going to widen over the next couple years, okay? So we've got that energy happening in Leo. And then moving back over here, we've also got some focus in Taurus here as Venus, which is exalted in Taurus, very comfortable. It is the ruler, okay? So a lot of energy about embodiment, being in the body, being comfortable in your body, relational type of experiences between yourself, others, your physical environment, your finances also. And we're just moving away from, we had a conjunction between Venus and Uranus last week. Uranus is like the change maker, okay? The disruptor, the rebel, the innovator. So a lot of potential, honestly, with both of these players in Taurus to really shake up your physical world. So this full moon that is coming up, although the full moon is more of a time for release and kind of check in, it really is an opportunity for us to release what is holding us to that old paradigm and allow us to move forward with a brand new physical world, right? Because this is the trick, folks. The way that you feel inside and the belief systems that you hold, the frequency that you are holding on your day-to-day as a baseline, that is what creates your world. It's not the physical. We've been taught backwards, okay? We were taught to respond to our circumstances when in actuality it's the other way around. And something that is helping this revelation of the inversion, okay, switching your locus of control from the external to the internal, is this activity between Neptune and Saturn, which you can't even see because it's behind here. Now, they look like they're conjunct, but they're not exact. It's pretty close, but it's not exact yet. That exact conjunction is not going to be until February next year, and that is not something that has happened since 2020, right? And when these outer planets, which are social or societal type of planets, conjunct, it is like changes in destiny, generational changes, big shifts in the collective. So we're getting a taste of that now, and these shifts that are happening are kind of a prelude to bigger shifts that are going to be happening in February of 2026. Neptune is currently in retrograde, and Saturn is going to be going retrograde on the weekend in between Saturday and Sunday. Okay, somehow I have tagged Neptune. I don't really know what I'm doing with this, so we're just going to leave it. So we're just getting a taste of this energy between this conjunction. They're going to be the closest that they've been this week. We've been feeling this energy for a while, and this is really the combination of the dissolver, which is Neptune, like the dissolving of boundaries, the far end of the spiritual realm. And Saturn is the exact opposite. It is the boundaries, is the limitations and the physical world, right? So the combination of these two things is creation energy. This is the law of three in action, and the only missing element is the third space, the third element, which is the incubating force, right? So taking time to really sit in your own energy, sit in stillness, sit in silence, focus your attention inwards, and, creating structures, like embodying that Saturn energy in a more spiritual or heart-centered kind of way. Saturn gets a bad rep. Neptune can have a bad rep also, right? Like, we don't want to be too far into disillusionment, disembodiment, right? Or we don't want to be too material either, right? It's kind of that middle ground. And that is what this energy is bringing to us. Now, when Saturn goes retro on Saturday, like in between Saturday and Sunday, it's really like early in the morning on Sunday. It's going to be going retrograde, and they'll be as close as they'll be until that exact conjunction next year. We also, at the same time, have a trine happening, which is a supportive element to Pluto in Capricorn. That's right. Pluto, our friend, is in Capricorn, not in Aquarius. That's not what an age means, anyways. Pluto in Capricorn is the dismantling of the old structures, the oppressive hustle and grind, the mentality that you have to work to live, that you got to do in order to be worthy, all of that kind of stuff. All the systems based on the patriarchy and the external locus of control are being dismantled as Pluto, the death bringer, the cycles ender, moves through Capricorn over the next 18 years. Now, here we have the moon. I'm filming this on Tuesday. The full moon is in 2 days-ish, right? So we can see the moon is right in Ophiuchus right now. It is passing over the galactic center, and then by the time it reaches the apex of its lunation, it will be in Sagittarius. So let's have a look-see at the moon transits and other information for the week. So I kind of faltered there because there isn't really a whole lot of other information for the week. As I said, we can see here from the chart at the top that I literally grabbed from Athan Chimenti's forecast. If you're looking for a more science-driven, less intuitive weekly forecast, he is reliable on mastering the zodiac.com, but he does not include information on things like the nodes and Chiron because he's very astronomical in his delivery. So, anywho, we can see here using the transit graph at the top that really the only energies that are affecting us, especially now that I'm recording this on July 8th, the Tuesday, we've got the sustained energy, the interaction, not an exact conjunction, but they're definitely close enough to be interacting with each other between Neptune and Saturn. And then a trine between Neptune and Pluto. So a trine is like a supportive type of energy. So this combination of the dissolving and the structuring, the magic, latching onto a structure, bringing a certain seriousness to your spirituality, like devotional structures to create a magical life, that kind of energy being supported by Pluto, dismantling the hierarchy, the hustle and grind, the patriarchy, the putting your authority outside of yourself, all the systems that extract power from us and reinforce the external locus of control being dismantled by Pluto. That is supporting Neptune, the dissolver in Pisces, via this trine as well. Later in the week, we will also have that support via trine with Saturn and Pluto, same kind of energy. Just this support of like destruction is good sometimes, guys. Okay, like Pluto and Saturn get a bad rep as far as astrology goes because we've been taught to fear the darkness. We've been taught to fear destruction and death. Like all of these things are part of life. Okay, the correspondence, the polarity. There cannot be birth and creation and good and light without death and destruction and bad and dark. Okay, like it's just part of the program. It's how it works. Okay, so both of those elements, the dissolver and the structurer, are getting support from Pluto, dismantling all of those old structures. And then we can see here that Saturn is going to go retrograde on Sunday. And then as far as the moon transits, I kind of alluded to this a little bit in the run through with the screen grab there, but we have the moon currently today in Ophiuchus, so right over the galactic center, the womb of our universe, the moon at the highest point or pretty close to the highest point in its lunation, pulling energy from us, pulling karma to the surface, the density to the surface within us in order to look at that stuff, right? Send it to the moon. And with it being over the galactic center, that is another vacuum. Okay. So double whammy of healing energy today in particular. So if things are coming to the surface for you or you're being activated or triggered by things in your physical environment, that is happening for you. Okay. It is a test. Although I don't really like that kind of framing of it being a test because that also I feel like alludes to the external locus of control or this like external authority figure judging you based on your results. So it's less of like a test, but more of an opportunity to see what you're going to choose, right? Like, are you going to choose to reinforce the external locus of control and be a victim or the rescuer or perpetrator, look outside of yourself, responding to your physical environment and deciding how you feel based on that? Or are you going to invert your locus of control to the inside, reclaim your power, and decide that you are the one who chooses how you feel no matter what? And with this sort of double whammy of vacuum energy in particular today, but this will be going on leading up until the full moon, and then with the full moon, this that part of the lunation is always an opportunity to release. So we're being invited to let that shit go in a very serious sort of way, right? Like what you're choosing to do and how you're choosing to be at this point in time is going to set your destiny in action. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure type of deal, right? Like you can be something different and then the physical world will catch up. The moon will be in Ophiuchus today and into tomorrow. Then, partway through the day tomorrow, it's going to switch into Sagittarius, where it will be for the full moon, which is happening at 3:44 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 11th, which is Friday, not Wednesday, by the way. If you checked out my video, I for some reason said Wednesday, July 11th, but I was looking at the June calendar. I think when I did that, it is the 11th is on Friday, FYI. So if you caught that, good eye. So the moon will be in Sagittarius for that event, and then into part of the day on Friday, and then it'll transgress into Capricorn over the weekend. So this energy of getting your ducks in a row, building structures, really like being solid and firm and structured and responsible with your emotions. Post lunation over the weekend as we move into the third quarter of the lunar cycle. So yeah, overall a pretty good week just to ground yourself in your knowing that you are the curator of your reality. The full moon always has a potential to stir things up. You know, there are documented statistics of people going literally crazy on the full moon. So if you feel that sort of energy, especially with all that mutable air and fire, there could be some antsy energy surrounding that full moon. So my recommendation would be to ground yourself in a natural body of water if possible, touch the earth. If you can't do either of those things, get yourself into some salt water, spend some time in stillness, try to isolate yourself in a positive type of way, you know, like removing yourself from situations and people and places that are activating, right? Because it's a lot easier to choose your own reality and choose how you feel when you're not constantly bumping against really shitty circumstances. So I am actually blessed to be heading to a family vacation on my favorite beach on Lake Huron. I will be there for the post lunar event energy, and I haven't decided if I'm going to do a forecast next week, by the way, because I will be there. So if you are missing this sort of weekly forecast energy, like I said, check out Athen Chimenti. He posts something every week without fail. So check his site out. I also wanted to mention as well, if you're somebody who is navigating these energies and looking for support on how to embody this information, I have space open for two one-on-one mentorship clients. This is not for the casual seeker. This is for somebody who is looking to shift their paradigm and embody these very deep, higher level teachings on a cellular level. So if that is something that is of interest to you, again, check out the information either in the comments of this video or the link in my bio, or you know what, send me a DM and we can see if we are a good fit. Other than that, if you're still listening to this, thank you so much for supporting me with your ears and eyes and hearts. I invite you to come and check out the free Discord server where you can connect with other people who are looking at the world through this paradigm. So far, it's mostly just me talking to myself in there. So I would love some other people to join in on the conversation. I do have the private channels active for the people who are doing the course, but there's a whole bunch of free channels that you can come and just chit chat. But like in order to connect, you have to actually talk with people. So come on out and contribute to the conversation. And I will see you in the next video, whenever that is.